Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is chapter number 8, electricity. Today we are going to do static electricity. So the effects of static electricity were first discovered by the Greeks, and in 600 BC there was a Greek philosopher Thales of Miletus. He noticed that when a piece of umber is hardened tree resin, when umber is rubbed with the fur, it acquires a strange property of attracting little pieces of dry straw. So when umber is rubbed with fur, it attracts little pieces of dry straw. But he was not able to understand what was happening. So later in 1600 AD, there was an English physicist named William Gilbert. He made a systematic study, and he found that not only umber but there were many other substances which have the property of attracting certain substances when they were rubbed against other suitable substances like glass, plastic and diamond. And Gilbert called such substances as electrica. In Greek, the word electron means umber. So it is the origin of words such as electricity, electric force, electric charge and electron. So Gilbert is called the father of electricity. Now what are electric charges? Let's take a plastic comb and bring it near small bits of paper, and the comb does not attract them. And now rub the same plastic comb against dry hair and again bring it near the bits of paper. Now we can see that the comb attracts the bits of paper on rubbing against dry hair. So what happens when the comb is rubbed against dry hair? It produces a force that can either attract or repel other objects. So this force is called electrostatic force. So the comb is said to be electrically charged when it is rubbed against dry hair. When we rub the comb against dry hair, it is electrically charged now, and it is able to attract the bits of paper. Now an object that has an electric charge on it is called electrically charged object. An object that does not have any electric charge on it is called uncharged or neutral object. A charged object can attract an uncharged object. So when an object is charged, it can attract an uncharged object. When the charge is at rest and when it does not flow, it is called static electricity. So when the charges or the electrons flow, that is called electric current, and when the charge is at rest, it does not flow, it is called static electricity. Now let's see this example for the movement of electrons. When a glass rod and a piece of silk cloth, they are rubbed against each other, what happens? The glass rod loses electrons to the silk cloth, and this is because the electrons in the outermost orbit of the glass rod are very loosely bound as compared to those in the silk cloth. So these charges from the glass rod move to the silk cloth. So glass rod loses electrons. Now the glass rod becomes electron deficient and gets positively charged. So when this glass rod is rubbed against this silk cloth, this glass rod loses electrons. Now it becomes electron deficient and it gets positively charged. This silk cloth, it gains electrons. Now it has excess of electrons, so it becomes negatively charged. Similarly, when an ebonite rod is rubbed with fur, what happens? Here the fur loses electrons to the ebonite rod. This is because the electrons in the outermost orbit of the fur, they are very loosely bound as compared to the ebonite rod. So the ebonite rod now has excess of electrons, so it becomes negatively charged, and the fur has less number of electrons, so it becomes positively charged. Now what have we seen in both the cases? In case of glass rod and piece of silk, and in case of ebonite rod and fur, we have seen that the substance which has loosely bound electrons in the outermost shell will lose the electrons, and the other substance will gain the electrons. And the substance that loses the electrons will become positively charged, and the substance that will gain the electrons will become negatively charged. Now what is the law of electrostatic attraction and repulsion? The like charges repel each other and unlike charges attract each other. This is the law of electrostatic attraction and repulsion. Now what is conservation of charge? Whenever any object is charged, there is a transfer of electrons from one object to the other. The charge gained by one object is equal to the charge lost by the other object. Thus, the total charge of the system of the two objects is conserved. So, as we have seen, the number of electrons lost by one object, they are gained by the other object. So, charge can neither be created nor destroyed, and the algebraic sum of the electric charges on the objects in an isolated system is constant or conserved. For example, when a glass rod and a piece of silk cloth, they are rubbed against each other, what happens? The glass rod becomes positively charged and the silk cloth becomes negatively charged. So the amount of charge lost by the glass rod is equal to the amount of the charge gained by the silk cloth. Thus, total charge remains conserved. Charge is neither created nor destroyed. The charge remains the same, it is conserved.